It's Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Nima Akasha Zibri.
Good morning.
Yes, both of us have the yellow brief.
Touch of
you have the yellow and purple.
Yeah.
And I love the purple dress.
It's a modestly posh dress.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And she insisted on match it with yellow. You have to wear it with yellow. I kept saying
she has a vision on how she wants it to be combined.
She went on my Instagram, found one of my old videos with the yellow and said, this yellow. So fortunately, I still have the veil, but it's going today, I'm sure. This is the last time I'll be wearing this yellow.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm grateful to God. And I was saying, I'm grateful to God for a lot of things. You know, my daughter wanted a sewing machine. And
you said so.
And I had a high budget from the ones I had priced. But I was lucky yesterday. Saw someone on Instagram. I checked her page. And when I told her it was for my daughter's birthday, I got a discount.
Oh.
Very, very huge. I saved so much.
Happy for
I saved a lot.
Wow,
and
that's
she was
so
excited.
Nice.
It's easy to use, and she started using it last night.
She knows how to sew with the machine.
No, needle. She knows how to do needle. She likes to cut things and sew them. So now she has a machine, and she tried to start yesterday, and we broke the needle fast. We're there. We're almost there.
But I've had a really... Nima's daughter is 9 years old, and her desire for birthday gift is sewing machine. That's not normal. It's not common, but it's a good thing.
I'm happy that you've young girl. Very bright. I mean, you're amazed at how bright this young girl is.
Yes.
Well, you must have been really busy yesterday because my kid called over and over again.
I was.
To speak to her to wish her a happy birthday.
I finished at 11. I still tried to make her a birthday meal, but I heard her telling her aunt on the phone, I'm not doing birthday party. We don't do parties. I said,
how are you doing,
I'm grateful to God for life, you know. And I just want to, I know someone who tried to commit suicide yesterday. And many times you think, this person is okay, everybody around saw him, is okay, he's fine. But there's no pressure that should make us want to take the gifts that you cannot give. You see, this life that we have is a gift you cannot give anybody. It's a gift that God has given you. And no matter the pressure, we mustn't allow external factors. Let us take away something that we cannot get back. You know, so my desire is that if anybody feels down, anybody's feeling pressured, please speak to someone. If nobody, speak to as many people as you can, but get someone to listen to you. Do not resort to taking anything.
It's interesting that you know this person. So do you think that he didn't have anybody to talk to because obviously he tried to kill himself? So I don't know how close you are to him, but so he tried to reach out to anybody?
I know where he works. He has he lives with his parents. He has siblings. You know, so it's not like there are no people around. But for the first time, I was looking at me and saying that depression is like it's not normal.
Yeah.
It's not normal. It can happen to you. So I think that we must increase our awareness of what to look out for, so that we can reach out when there is need, you know, and we must keep on having this conversation. So remind the person that is depressed that it's not over. There are people that will be able to support you through this process, and you can still find joy despite the pressure. And in this case,
what makes it hard for a lot of people who go through depression to speak is because you don't just go about just telling everybody. You're looking for a safe haven. So that's really the problem. Where can people feel confident enough and vulnerable?
Our learning curve is that let's be a safe haven for those come. Let's be approachable. Yes. If you're a parent, if you're a sibling, be approachable. Don't put your children under unnecessary pressure because that's your last line of defense. That's the first line of defense. So if your children cannot come to you, there's a problem. So be accessible and let your children be able to come to you. How are you doing, Mariam?
I'm doing fine. Yesterday, I stopped over at the Lekki Conservation Center.
Yeah, we saw the pictures.
You saw the pictures, right? Yes. I was just really warmly received by my NCF family, I like to call them. And I'm just so grateful. We have lots of plans. The DG of the foundation was just truly excited. I was like, you know, anything and any way that they could support me. So I'm just so grateful and happy. I've been getting, and for all of you who have been ordering and sending me pictures and your reviews, thank you so very much. Let's go there. Let's keep buying on Amazon. Thank you.
Yes, so you're dollar rich now. Now, big girls.
Yeah, I'm getting alerts in dollars. Thank you.
That's good. That's fantastic.
But it's mainly about the message. You know me. It's about the message.
At the end of the day, are we not going to be profitable? As modest as we like to sound, at the same time, I think Hospital has taught us that no matter how much we like to be very good, let's not forget the numbers, which is great. Also, congratulations again. We're looking for the next textbook for the end of this year.
Yay!
I don't know why Mara
It'll
keeps
be
giving me this
easier.
timeline.
No,
This
but
timeline.
It'll be easier.
You've already gone through the...
Yeah, it's easy now.
We'll see.
Anyways, so we're still reveling
How
in
you
the
doing?
excitement of the book. I'm fine. What's today? Today is Wednesday.
How has work been?
Work hasn't, I mean, I'm even happy that work hasn't really started. I mean, I tried to go to work and people are still in their house, which is great. So I think I'll just stay in my house today. I think until
As
next
in,
week
I
Monday.
put my windows down and drove to work this morning.
Oh,
Cool
Your
breeze,
area.
everywhere, nice air, no pollution.
Harmattan.
No, they are away. They carry their trucks and left.
Travel.
All of them are
Imagine,
gone.
imagine.
I
So
just
by
wish-
Monday they're coming back. Oh.
No, Papa, I think usually the third week.
Third week.
So I'm enjoying this week.
All right, let's go on a break. When we return, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Right, we'll start with The Nation. FG set to gazette order classifying gunmen terrorists. El-Rufai, carpet bombing of forests will end banditry. Uzodinma fails to name crime sponsors in Imo. 4 killed in failed Osun jailbreak. INEC releases timetable for Ekiti governorship poll. Ibadan kingmakers meet today over succession. Doyin Salami is Buhari's chief economic advisor. And Sanwo-Olu parties to Magodo. Dispute meets today. Okay, let's start with the major headline. Who has that story?
headline.
Yeah.
So the Minister for Justice, my favorite minister, and Attorney General again, in the papers. Because it's the one I always talk about the most, not about favorites like that. It's about features all the time. And so this time around, he was being questioned about terrorism and banditry, and he says that that yes, that the most important thing, because let me go directly. The question was on whether the Super Tucano jets that we got have been deployed for the purpose of stopping banditry. And he said that the most important thing, because he then highlighted the process, that which of course is to prescribe them, and that has been done by a court, and that the court order is more important than the gazetting. That gazetting is just formality. That once the court has said that they are now terrorists, that's okay. And so they went ahead and said, are you not deploying this to them? He said, like I said, a court order has been obtained, prescribing them first. We did that for IPOP, we did that for Boko Haram, so that the government can then fight them and deploy state apparatus to curb their excesses. And that's what we have done now. The court has given an order, and terrorism, anybody with a gun, the pronouncement has been done, declaring bandits, cattle rustlers, kidnappers, all of them as terrorists. Okay, have they deployed? At the end of the day, says, I don't know whether or not that's been done. I cannot answer that. But the English was plenty. Plenty.
Okay, so yes, the governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, has said that he believes that in order for us to solve this issue of kidnapping and banditry is to carpet bomb the forests. So, in my understanding of carpet bombing, it means just bomb that place and clear it. He says the trees, we will plant them again. Yes, there may be collateral damage, but we'll plant the trees, and then what's important is to get people back into the communities. He says, really, the truth is our military is overstretched. There isn't enough of boots on the ground, and there are many security issues across the country. So maybe this is the best way to go, although he also advised for better strategic ways to handle this.
Yeah.
I get him. I understand it. Yeah. But also, it didn't make the front page, but Gumi was talking about some people who, when the military say they went in and they bomb a certain place, sometimes they affect innocent settlers in these communities because you go in and you bomb it.
Yeah.
Yes, but the truth is, okay, what do you think about that?
What I think is that, why do we have this forest unused? And wait,
they're already there. So what do we do with it?
Let's deploy state apparatus to take over those lands. Give them to serious-minded people that will secure. Let them use it for proper farming.
Forest.
Having them, then you take off the forest. So
that's what he's saying.
That's what he's saying.
Don't bomb. That's
They
what
have
I'm
to,
saying.
people are there.
Don't
Criminals
burn it
are there.
Have you
over.
driven past any of these
Take
forests
it
in recent
over.
times? Have you driven past some serious forests?
Mona,
You need to say it.
Even normal
Yeah.
bush.
I've not been
Yes,
abroad.
it's
My
not-
husband traveled to when I go
not a
back,
hot
and he
topic.
did a video
Yeah.
along a stretch that would be a forest in Nigeria and abandoned. And it was an entire farm, an entire town, all the
Oh,
way.
yes.
And
I'm talking about-
we can take over like that, secure that place and make it
All right, please.
productive.
All right, let's move
rather
on.
than make it a
The
hideout.
Ekiti states will be having their elections on June 18th of 2022. This is in accordance with the law that they must give a 90-day notice. Now, starting from the 4th of January to 29th of January, parties must now conduct their individual primaries and pick their candidates. The reason we're taking this story because we know there are people that are watching from Ekiti State, but more importantly is to appeal that from the internal party process down to the election day on the 18th, we don't want any blood spillage. My mom is from Ekiti, my husband is from Ekiti, my husband is from Ekiti, and we have family members in Ekiti, and there is nothing political that should be worth the life of any Ekiti citizen.
Very true.
So we can
Very
do this
true.
peacefully.
Yes.
All right, so 4 inmates were gunned down on Tuesday to try to escape from the correctional center in Ile-Ife.
Wow.
So after 9 a.m. Devotion, they looked at the entrance and said, okay, these kids are not
They have monitored the time.
They're monitoring the entrance. They started walking towards it, spoke to the guards there thinking that, they can get away. So they started running away. And because the police mistakenly shot them and gunned them down immediately.
You say mistakenly?
Not mistakenly.
Okay. Deliberately.
Deliberately gunned
Targeted
them.
them.
But mistakenly killed them.
Yes, yes.
But
Probably.
I think that at the end of the day, it's to serve as a deterrent so that nobody gets any ideas going forward.
Moving on to the punch.
Next time we can taste them. Can we taste them next time?
Do we have teasers?
Auntie,
We don't have teasers. So.
we don't have battery set for the teasers.
Oh, please.
The punch.
Burayo.
AMCON lists 7,912 names owing 4.4 trillion naira as deadline expires today. Picture of our governor, Magodo protest, Sanwo-Olu police team leader, exchange words, governor plans meeting. Magodo has become very, very popular recently.
As
On the
in,
news. Lagos made 14 flees with boss's 2-year-old daughter arrested in Ogun. Dana plane speeding car in near collision on Lagos Airport taxiway. Oyo awaits ex-AG's petition on Olubadan. Government pledges smooth transition. Presidency Tinubu group's boast of national spread, says ex-governor ahead of others. Automatically in 30 years' time, youth will carry government's mounting debt burden, says Owonikoko. And Muslim tickets unacceptable, says Khan. Ohaneze to lobby North, Southwest for all Igbo presidential race. Okay, story, we take it.
the major headline. So AMCON as the deadline for the publication of about 7,912 names that are owing this nation in several capacities by borrowing from companies, private and government entities will be published. So I'm hoping that by tomorrow morning, the major headline will be their names. Because according to AMCON, the National Assembly has given them an ultimatum that expires today to publish the names of these people, and that 1 month has expired. So they are going to name them, and we're looking forward to that.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, continue with the punch. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music, and information. With our breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria, the all-female chat show, Your View, the best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bolly, and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy E-Splash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for news that is first, accurate, balanced, and reliable every time. TVC and TVC News, watched by over 4.5 million people in Nigeria every day on terrestrial, DTH, DTT, OTT, and available to viewers in the UK on Sky TV. Watch all of our world-class programs on TV, online, and on our app. TVC and TVC News, the best entertainment and news for Nigeria on TV and online.
And when you can't watch us, listen to us. 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja are now ranked among the most listened to radio stations in Nigeria.
Now, with over 1.5 million listeners every day, we're the people's favorite radio station. Best hit music, best on-air talent. Max 102.3 hit music for Lagos and Max 90.9 hit music for Abuja. We are your home for that fun, entertainment, and hit music.
In Lagos, TVC, our leading family entertainment TV channel, has a 47% market share. But this is just the start of our journey, as we plan to add even more services to entertain and inform our ever-growing audience. Thanks for being part of the TVC communication story.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still in Punch. Let's take another story. I was going to take the story of the human interest story of this young 14-year-old girl that went away with her boss's 2-year-old son from Sunday school, because the Sunday school teacher knew her and allowed her to take the child. She left the child and she traveled all the way. I think she was found in Ogun. Actually, a woman saw her begging for alms and saw that the child was very, very sick and ill. She took both of them in, helped to rehabilitate the little child to be well. Once the boy was okay, the girl said she wants to go back to Imo State. So that's when she now got suspicious. You said that your parents died in a ghastly car accident and only two of you survived, that is your little brother, that, well, who are you going to go and meet in Imo State? So she now got a bit suspicious. That's why she now went, alerted the police. And was them they realized that this girl abducted this little boy, was taking her, was en route to Imo State. They didn't tell us exactly what she had planned to do to the child, and to sell him, we don't know. But they found the child, and I'm not sure if they have reconnected the child to his parents. I'm not sure yet, but the police is still on top of this.
There are many things wrong with it. That was a 14-year-old girl. Yeah. A 14-year-old girl has no business
being a nanny in the first place.
A 14-year-old girl has no business. We need to stop this. It's a crime.
I agree. Totally. Yeah. So Dana Plain. Thankfully, we averted a mishap, as it's been reported here on the 21st of December. It says that the plane was taxiing, to take off, and a car just drove right in front of it, and the pilot had to, use his brakes. He was so upset, of course, called the control room, and it happened to be the car belonged to the customs office, and their staff was driving it. Obviously, it seemed like that man didn't have any training concerning how to move around in that area. And so the management of the airport and FAN has said that they have worked on, they have updated and upgraded security around the runway. But this is not the first time that it's happened. We remember there was one Max Air as well. A car broke down just, on the runway as well. And second, there's another one that happened December 27. A person mounted a plane. He seemed not to be in his right mind, and that was the second one. It says 6 months before then, another person had carried his hand luggage and found his way to the wing of another plane. I was trying to get on the wing to be flown away. So obviously, the area is not secure as it should be. I think this says a lot about the management of FAN right now. People will be looking at you. If you have this thing happening consistently, you need to definitely look into your security and train the people that have other agencies that have to work in the airport.
So there was a quick interview of Olushola Owonikoko, is the president of the Carrington Fellowship Network. I liked what there's a quote that he said. It was an interview piece. He's a young man, and he mentioned that while a lot of our leaders are taking debts to fund salary structures without accurate, proper development, most of these leaders are in their 70s and 80s, and that at the end of the day, in the next 10 years, they're probably retired if still alive. That it is the young people who are not allowed into leadership now that would have to find a way to pay the debts that Nigeria is getting into. A 30-year debt now will be paid for by Nigerian youths. And that is not like Nigerian youths should expect they will suddenly drastically take over the political position, but they must continue to push. It won't be drastic in 2023, but we must find a way to get our way in. That there are many competent Nigerians and young Nigerians that choose to go for elections should be voted for at every capacity so that we include them in the government.
Okay, let's move on quickly now to Daily Sun. Bloody day in Kaduna. Bandits kill 9, injure 5, steal 250 goats. Uzodinma warns Okorocha, vow to clear rot in Imo. FG Malami under fire over failure to designate bandits as terrorists. 3 teenagers in police nets for attempted ritual killing in Bayelsa. Afenifere, MBF, Pandem, others endorse Southeast for president. APC convention, governors, party leaders divided over February date, and president appoints Salami as economic advisor. Okay, which story?
Yeah, so in Imo State, the Imo State governor had, yesterday was in the papers, where he said he is going to name all the sponsors of, insecurity in his state. So, of course, we're all waiting. The state was waiting, and when he got there, he did not name them. He said, because the moment he said it, it became politicized. People were talking about it on social media, and so he has decided to just allow investigations be carried out, and then let us not affect, But he went ahead to call out Okorocha, and I have to read what he says. He says, Okorocha is out of office, but he still wants to be in charge. Other former governors have respected themselves since they left office. I won't allow him to be in control. Okorocha is my younger brother. I'm older than him. If not for anything, I deserve to be respected by him. I don't want to have issues with him, but he should know that he's no longer the governor. So, Mr. Okorocha, Mr. Uzodinma, please, Your Excellencies, but also we should be careful our utterances. You don't go about saying you will name sponsors of insecurity. That's such a heavy statement. And then you don't.
Then you say you leave it to the security apparatus.
Why didn't you do
that? Was the highlight of the entire thing.
And then in the same voice, the same breath.
Let's speak another story.
Major headlines. A tiring story of killings, kidnappings happening as usual, but this time in Kaduna State. Actually, Igbagi and Zaria local government, 9 people were killed yesterday as bandits in those areas carried out the attack. Reports also included that 5 people were injured during the attack. They tried to rustle cattle and they stole 250 goats as well. In the reports, though, the military, in attacking them, were able to kill 2 of the bandits in crossfire, arrested a few, and there was a confession that there were a few other people that were arrested too, that were found to have been involved in it. They confessed to it. So I'm happy that as we're reporting this particular story, we reported the attack. We also are reporting at the same time the fact that the military were able to respond. And if we continue to see this, we might find to end to this
3 teenagers in Bayelsa were arrested. And thankfully by the youth first, who handed them over to the police. They had hypnotized, according to the report, a young lady, and took her to the room of one of them. I think I should even mention their names. So the 3 of them, Momotimi Bamisa is 15, Perebi Aweke another 15, AK Prince another 15. They are all natives of Sagbama community in Bayelsa, and they hypnotized this young lady for ritual purposes. By the time they were accosted by the community, they had already cut off all her fingers and sprinkled the blood on the mirrors. They were already carrying out the ritual. The community suspected the way they moved in, went in, beat them up, the community beat them up and arrested them, handed them over to the police. And the police has confirmed that the young lady is in the hospital now receiving treatment and that they would prosecute these 3 young men. I hope that they prosecute them for the least attempted murder.
I have the story of Pandef. So the Afenifere, Pandef, and the Middle Belt Forum have agreed to endorse Southeast to produce Nigeria's next president. According to them, there must be restructuring before 2023. However, all of them have agreed. They said this, that at the launch of the Power Shift movement and 40 million ballots movement in Awka, Anambra State yesterday. And they're saying specifically that all of them are saying that that everybody, every region should get a taste of the presidency. And after that, we can now begin to see how we can focus on other factors of bringing in a president. For now, all regions should, for equity, for the sake of equity. But first, we must restructure before 2023. That's the only way all sides would have a voice at the table. Moving on now to Vanguard. Magodo land tussle drama as police from Abuja defy Sanwo-Olu's quit order. Malami's reasons not tenable. Oil price tops $80 per barrel as OPEC paints positive 2022 picture. Bandits attack 3 Kaduna local governments, kill 9 and injure 5. Again, no provision for West-East coastal rail in 2022 budget. Insecurity anticlimax as Imo governor fails to name sponsors. Buhari appoints Doyin Salami chief economic advisor. Okay, story. Everybody will talk about
Okay, I guess somebody will read the Tribune.
Major headline.
We are keeping the major headline for hot topic.
That's our hot topic later. Nigerian Tribune. Okay, let's find a story we have not taken.
Yeah.
Who has Doyin Salami chief security advisor? Nobody took that story.
I thought you had it more.
Okay, no, I didn't have that story. Gazette affirming bandits as terrorists out soon, says Malami. June 18, date stands for Ekiti governorship poll. How 42 children, pregnant women, 55 others regained freedom in Zamfara, says police.
Yeah.
9 killed, 5 injured in fresh attacks in Kaduna. And short invitation to scuttle age-long tradition on Olubadan stew, Olubadan in Council OS, right, Makinde.
Yes, a notorious bandit leader, Bello Turji, yesterday said he was said to have freed over 50 kidnapped victims in his custody in Zamfara State. This is said to be as a result of the military raids in the Zamfara and Sokoto forest. They said that he released them unconditionally, and amongst these free victims were 19 babies, several pregnant women, 16 minors. So that's good news, you know.
Good news. I wanted to take
that's good news that they have been released. So what they've also done is, once they are being released, they are taking for medical checks and also to evaluate them, because, I mean, when a bandit just releases people, we need to be careful that there's it's not a Trojan horse.
Yes. So, you know, we always celebrate stories of announcements of things that will happen. So in March 2021, the Minister for Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, announced that there's going to be a coastal rail between Lagos all the way to Calabar. Everybody celebrated. It was talking that Nigeria was at the verge of signing a loan agreement for the takeoff of this project. 4 months later, it disclosed that even the London-based Standard Chartered Bank has agreed to finance the project. However, when we now saw the budget for 2022, there is no such project included. I would appreciate if we focus, but like, I know that there's a lot of work going on and sometimes it doesn't get approved, but let us only talk about things that we're already doing. Let's only celebrate things that have already been done. Enough of we are going to, and then...
Well, I think there's a process. You start by putting it in paper and then eventually now put in a budget. So they talk about that. So Nigerians, we need to learn to separate. So when they tell us that you don't start dancing, like, okay, you have done the first step, let's see what you are doing next. Because we celebrate immediately.
We learned it from the white papers, remember?
Yes.
First do the communique.
You have to sit down and talk.
We'll come with the communique. After the communique, we'll have the white paper to review what the communique said before we now begin
in the transport budget. There's a 45 million naira that's approved for the review of the 25-year rail strategic plan. So we're going to spend 45 million naira to review.
That's
still in that space of white paper, white paper, white paper.
Okay, we have to run. Final paper, The Guardian. So I think we've taken also the major headline, barely 1 year to go. Buhari appoints economic advisor. And France alerts world to new COVID-19 variant IHU. I think I have that story. Let me see.
We've been wondering what the name they would call the new one.
Rishi. Let me even tell. I don't even know if they give us what IHU stands for. Let me see if I have that. But you say it's a new coronavirus variant and emerged in France, although France is saying that there's a possibility it came from Cameroon.
They just have to find a way to...
already reported about 12 cases of this variant, which researchers believe contains 46 mutations, more than Omicron. And the new variant has been associated with Cameroon, as I said, but there's little sign that it's outmatching the Omicron variant, which now makes about 60% of cases in France. So they're still monitoring this closely, and I did confirm from my local government that the booster is ready.
Okay, awesome. Yes, you said
I was going to call the guy yesterday and he said, go and take it. So I'm going there to my area to go and take it. By God's grace, this week, I must go and take a booster.
Why
so,
by God's grace?
I saw what you meant.
By God's grace. Okay. When Nigerians say by God's grace, it's usually that maybe not we're going to do it.
Yeah, it means that, like maybe not, but by God's grace, God will now push you.
Yes, because our time is controlled by God.
Please, we are religious in this country. By God's grace, we're going to break now.
All right.
Come back. We continue with the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Whether you like it or not, the dryness and dust is coming. And this time...
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music, and information. With our breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria, the all-female chat show, Your View, the best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bolly, and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy Eastplash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for news that is first, accurate, balanced, and reliable every time. TVC and TVC News watched by over 4.5 million people in Nigeria every day on terrestrial, DTH, DTT, OTT, and available to viewers in the UK on Sky TV. Watch all of our world-class programs on TV, online, and on our app. TVC and TVC News, the best entertainment and news for Nigeria on TV and online.
And when you can't watch us, listen to us. 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja are now ranked among the most listened to radio stations in Nigeria.
Now, with over 1.5 million listeners every day, we're the people's favorite radio station. Best hit music, best on-air talent. Max 102.3 hit music for Lagos and Max 90.9 hit music for Abuja. We are your home for that fun, entertainment, and hit music.
In Lagos, TVC, our leading family entertainment TV channel, has a 47% market share. But this is just the start of our journey, as we plan to add even more services to entertain and inform our ever-growing audience. Thanks for being part of the TVC Communications story.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live.
Thanks for staying with us. So if you have never heard of Magodo Phase 2 estate, I'm sure in the last 1 week, you have been hearing about this estate back to back. Anyways, the residents of this estate area took to the streets to protest the continuous presence of policemen in their environment. This led to the governor of Lagos State, Governor Sanwo-Olu, and some members of his cabinet to come to the estate to speak with the protesting residents. At the estate, the governor asked the police officers led by the CSP to vacate the estate. But the CSP, however, told the governor that he and his armed colleagues were at the estate on the orders of the Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, as well as the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami. Now, the video of the CSP defying or refusing to call his superior at the instruction of the governor of Lagos State went viral. And people were saying, if the governor indeed is the chief security officer of the state, doesn't he have the authority to instruct the CSP to call his superiors in Abuja? Now, we all watched the video, and the question really is, where do you draw the line? You know, some are saying this is raising the issue of state policing. This and others are saying, is this the same governor that they said gave the order for the army to shoot innocent protesters? So if a governor of a state, if everybody is saying that this is the same governor that called for the order, gave the order for the shooting of innocent protesters, why can't he instruct the ordinary CSP to call? He couldn't make a focus. So there's been different arguments on social media, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. Let me call our viewers. You can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948. You can also send us messages, but I'd like some of you who have no clue of what we're talking about to watch the video, the clip, so that you can have a better understanding.
Okay, so do you have a copy of the Supreme Court?
Oh, I don't have it at hand here, but it's been given to them ever before now. No. It's been given to the residents ever before now.
No, the court order is not with the residents, it's with the government. So the government has been given.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
So whatever court order you are talking, which you are not even competent to know, which you don't even know anything about, is not to the residents. It's a case between the supposed people and the Lagos State government. Thank you, sir. So it has nothing to do with the residents of the state. Please, can you call your superior in Abuja that you need to deactivate and you need to leave Lagos now? Please. Can you call your superior in Abuja and tell them that the governor is here and I'm the chief security officer and that you don't have any business being in my state right now and that I want you to disengage forthwith from here?
Thank you very much, sir. Your Excellency, sir. I'm not here on my own orders.
That's why I'm asking you to make a phone call and tell them, your superior, that I'm here standing in front of you. Make that phone call.
Thank you, sir. I'm here on instruction of the Inspector General of Police to the AGF, sir. And that is why I'm here. I'm too small or too low to call them. Your Excellency, sir, with due respect, sir, you can call them directly, sir. So that they will have us to leave.
So Inspector General has asked you to come.
I'm here on instruction of Inspector General of Police to the AGF, Attorney General of Defense.
I have spoken to the Attorney General at this moment, so he's not aware that you are here.
Well, we are expecting
So that's the video that went viral.
It is.
Nima, let me start with you. What are your thoughts on this?
I just wanted to take the risk to say that it's obvious that the last call is not with the governor in any of these matters, including the toll gate and what we just saw here. This is a chief superintendent of a police officer saying to the governor that I dare not call the person that deployed me here. Most likely, I can only take calls when they call me to give me a new order, but I dare not call them, even when you are standing in front of me, to reverse the order, to say anything in this country. And so you would wonder how the instructions or the cadre of the police runs. I would expect that if the IG had deployed police officers, the commissioner of police, who is the immediate resident police officer, will be aware. And so that the governor does not need to be here to do this. The commissioner of police can be invited to the office because, you know, of course, of the governor, and made to understand that this has to stop, and he can then, report, at least the commissioner of police has been promoted, is now an AIG. Report to his authority, his superiors and say...
The commissioner of police was there 2 weeks ago.
They did not even answer.
And gave the order 2 weeks ago. And then the people on ground said they did not get signal. The commissioner was on ground in Magodo, mentioned that they should go back, that because it's an issue with the governor, and the police officers on ground said they did not get signal from Abuja. So they couldn't take orders from the person on ground who is in charge of the environment. So it just is scary, Murayo.
It is. And as it is now, for me, this whole situation, or the way we run Nigeria, we don't allow offices or the authority, the right cadre to be respected. All lands in all states are directly under. That is what our constitution has provided. That is what our Land Use Act has provided, that the governor is in control of all land, holding in trust for the people of the state. Even if there's an issue and it borders around land, the governor has to know. Now, for me, I also felt that the governor didn't need to be here. He is the governor. He didn't have to be talking to the ordinary CSP. Sorry to use the word ordinary. You are an elected office holder. You don't have to talk to an appointee. You have the power of the people given to you by election. If the governor could not reach the AG, those are the two officers mentioned by the CSP now, the IG and the AG of the country. If you couldn't reach them by a phone call, the presidency will not deny the governor entrance into Asoro. It's been done before. In Borno, when the governor of Borno, the former governor of Borno, I'm trying to remember the former governor before the present one now, had an issue of security in the state, and he kept doing press briefing, and he couldn't gain the attention of the executive. He went to picket Asoro. He got an attention. He got that audience.
All right, so I hear that. Let me come to Mariam, because the governor specifically said that he has spoken to the Attorney General, Malami, and he said he's not aware that you people are here. According to what he said in the video, he said Malami is not aware that you're here. So the person who sent you, that's the IGP, call him. And he also said in the same video that he got a letter from the IGP, right? Possibly, I don't know what the content of the letter was, but before he could say Jack Robbins, according to his own words, you are here. So obviously, there's an instruction that needs to come from Abuja that the people on ground are yet to have.
Okay,
may I get the order?
Okay, yeah. So see, I know a lot of people have looked at this video and said, oh, it's embarrassing to our governor. Why would he bring himself to this position where they're talking back at him and refusing to take his orders? I think our governor was being smart, in my opinion. When we talk about sometimes we say, oh, our governor is doing nothing. And I think he wanted it on camera to show that I have called people and look at, even while we're here, Nigerians can see now for themselves that he's done his part, but there's obviously someone above all of them that's refusing to let the police, that's refusing the police officers to leave the estate. So sometimes, let's look beyond these things. These are politicians. They understand how this thing works. And so right now, today, we're watching this across Nigeria. Presidency is watching it. And people are now going to ask, who is the person that is refusing to let the police officers leave Magodo? And why would you get to the point where the governor has to come on TV, come to the place? Because he could have sat in his office, made a phone call, made a few phone calls, and everywhere would be cleared.
But do you think that our governor really hasn't learned his lessons from the Lekki massacre? Because if you remember, when the protest started, he came to Lekki to talk to the people and said, I will take your complaints to Abuja. And he was a good guy, and he did, right? And he did that. Yes. But unfortunately, he backfired. This is a man that took your letter and took it to Abuja. This is what my people in Lagos are saying, Please, these are the 5-point agenda. It somewhat backfired on him because eventually things happened, and then they said, oh, he was what I called the order for them to shoot. Now, this has happened again within your citizens. And the same governor is going to the same place again and saying, listen, I want to help to the leader. I want you to stand down on your order. Shouldn't our governor have learned that really your conversations should be directly to Abuja, not to the people on ground?
Murayo, if there's anything, the governor has won my respect over time, honestly. This governor is someone that, when he came into power, there was really little expectation. People felt like, oh, this is a political game. Or it came as a political retaliation for someone. But he's won our respect. Yes, they told him Sorosoke. Yes, they called him names. But you cannot deny that our governor responds to people. Because rights is a responsive governor, and that's what we expect from a leader. That you will come and talk to the people. Not that you will talk at us from your office. Not that you will say you are the political leader and they should just respect and bow before you. Our governor hasn't been like that. He comes to the floor. He talks to the people. We might not like the entirety of the reaction he got, but I like and I respect what he's done so far. So on the show yesterday morning, I called him to respond. On the ground in Magodo, people called him that, no, governor, you're not doing anything because they didn't see him. Apparently, he was acting, but they didn't see him. So sometimes you walk and they don't see you to be working. So you come and say, I am working. So that's what he did yesterday. He showed that he had been working, and he showed how his hands are tied. Learning moment for us again. The security apparatus of the state cannot rest in the federal government. It can't. Because when things go wrong here, you have to be waiting for signal to come when things are going bad within the state.
Okay, let me go on a break because therefore lies the argument for the state policing, where he keeps saying, I am the chief security officer of the state.
It can't be. What does it really mean?
So what does it mean? Let's go on a break. When we come back, we dig further. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music, and information. With our breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria, the all-female chat show, Your View, the best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bolly, and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy E-Splash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for news that is first, accurate, balanced, and reliable every time. TVC and TVC News watched by over 4.5 million people in Nigeria every day on terrestrial, DTH, DTT, OTT, and available to viewers in the UK on Sky TV. Watch all of our world-class programs on TV, online, and on our app. TVC and TVC News, the best entertainment and news for Nigeria on TV and online.
And when you can't watch us, listen to us. 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja are now ranked among the most listened to radio stations in Nigeria.
Now, with over 1.5 million listeners every day, we're the people's favorite radio station. Best hit music, best on-air talent. Max 102.3 hit music for Lagos and Max 90.9 hit music for Abuja. We are your home for that fun, entertainment, and hit music.
In Lagos, TVC, our leading family entertainment TV channel, has a 47% market share. But this is just the start of our journey as we plan to add even more services to entertain and inform our ever-growing audience. Thanks for being part of the TVC communication story.
Come closer. A little bit more. Perfect. I have exciting news for you. You asked for it and you got it. Your favorite breakfast show, Your View, will be going to 2 hours. Up until now is who gave the order? That's the same question everybody has been asking. And in the same situation, who gave the order? Now, it's suggesting like it is Abubakar Malami, the AGF, that actually possibly, or the Inspector General of Police. We're not sure yet. It's still not clear. Now, the point is, everybody is clamoring for local policing. But the argument against it is the abuse of power by the governors of this state policing. So when we see this kind of thing play out,
it looks like abuse of power.
Are we
of the
saying?
federal policing.
So where is the abuse of power in this regard? If the governor had the full power of the state, would he be treated the way he was treated yesterday?
No. There's no solution that cannot be abused. Anything you put on ground, federal, state police, can be abused. Resort to the courts. But don't say that we have this solution. We will not take it because of the possibility of this. So what we are seeing here is that governor has commissioner of police in his state who can carry gun, has police officers in his state taking orders from somewhere, and he's saying, I do not want an insurrection in my state. You know, if this was Rivers State, Wike had attempted to save one woman who was being, her house was in Rivers State. I'm trying to get her name.
I think she was in a...
He went with his own apparatus of security. They came with their gun. Obviously, he did not wait for the federal IGP to give him order. He shot down oil companies during COVID. He used his own apparatus of security, obviously not using that of the state. You see a civil governor having a conversation.
Telling you, please.
You people will be looking for Jaguda example because it is possible.
That governor is not Jaguda.
That's why
he's not Jaguda. We don't want it to be Jaguda.
That's why Nigerians will call him names. People went online yesterday calling him all sorts of names. Because he's trying to be a civil person, having a conversation, trying to get to the bottom of things.
Please.
Yes. Gragra is what works in Nigeria. People are looking for Gragra.
We appreciate it.
Yes.
You appreciate it.
I think that the majority would appreciate it. We might want the aggressive nature, but we cannot evolve in that space. So here is my own worry. We don't know who gave the order. If we are complaining that we will not give states policing, we won't give the states, we won't give states ability to police because they might abuse it. We have seen the government, the federal government situation in an abusive environment where we don't know who gave the order. There is a court order in a case against Lagos state government, and then they came take possession, not with the government, not in a conversation with the government, but on the ground. Who gave the order?
Did you even hear the conversation between the governor and the CSP? The CSP's mentality was like, we told the residents that we are coming now. The governor said, you don't have this business we don't have to be there with residents. So the case is between me, the government, and the family that is saying that they want the land.
The police was also being abused in this case. You know, we've heard several times where powerful people will want justice for themselves and use their power to get the police to do what they want. And that is the abuse of police. So it is not for... The question goes back to, yes, who gave the order on this? We need to know, number one. Number two, who is going to benefit from this issue? Who is benefiting from this issue? There's somebody, when it comes to conflict resolution, for you to resolve a conflict, you need to look for beneficiaries from that conflict. So who is benefiting from this if this conflict resolves in their end?
Okay, so I think we should also make it clear that there's supposed to be a court order saying that the families that own this area have been given their land back, right? So they are working on the order of the Supreme Court. That's why they are there. So I don't want us to make this conversation to seem that someone just abused the police to carry out like a personal vendetta, you know, against certain people. There is an order for the family to take. So their presence there is legal. Their presence there is based on the order from the Supreme Court. At least that's what the family members keep saying.
According to the court ruling, they are giving them 500 or so plots, right? It wasn't specific as to which area.
So the police is there to enforce the court ruling.
No.
The police is there to enforce the court ruling. That's why the police is there. And that court ruling came from the Supreme Court, came from Abuja. And until they get a message from there saying that they can leave that place, they cannot.
So what is the court ruling? What is the court ruling? What is the court ruling?
For what I understand, and what the families keep posting and talking about, is that the government has given them the court ruling to reclaim their 350, 500 plots of land in that Magodo estate. So I don't know if there's a specific area that they have given them. But for the police to be able to come to enforce it, it means that they have a paper or a court ruling. Because we see that they have been marking some houses.
All houses.
So, yes, so they are there not because one person sat there. The way I understand, one person just sat there and said, I'm going to make the Magodo residents uncomfortable. Now, I think what the state governor is doing now is to see how we can amicably solve this situation. We have two people two sets of people. We have people who have invested their money, their years in building their own personal assets on these lands. And then we have these families that feel that this land is rightfully ours and was taken away from us because of corruption. So for me, what we're trying to see is how we can fairly resolve this issue.
In resolving, there's an 11 a.m. meeting today, which we're obviously going to be monitoring.
Yes.
To see what happens, because the governor has called on all the major stakeholders to have a meeting at 11 o'clock this morning. So
I wanted to quickly say that there's a conflict of interest here. In this case, there are two valid parties, the Lagos State and the family. These two parties got a court order. The family are not saying they brought an enforcement order. We just saw military officers. There's a court judgment that they're relying on. Yes. But there's no enforcement order from any court saying we've gotten an enforcement, we are trying to enforce this particular order. Okay. So some judgments are declaratory, they are there. The parties are now going to go back and resolve on how to settle. Yes. Are we going to take over people's houses to give you, or we can resettle you somewhere? Those are now in negotiation. Good. The family will not now just show up and say, mark. Yes. Except, no, I'm just trying to clarify that the order is from somewhere else. They accept there's an order, and that order is not showing any court. Right. So somebody is behind this. That's just one. Two is that in this case, the person in question is not a party here. We don't know the name of any of such person. We only know that the governor of Lagos State, who is a party, and this whatever family people are parties, we can see them. When you want to come, you don't just come and start marking houses. When matters like this happen, there's always that room for mediation. There's always a revaluation of properties. You don't just make people uncomfortable as a resolution to this. The governor in the state, for instance, now, who has power over all lands, can say, this is how we want to resolve it. Let's move to another area and resolve it, because we don't want these people to lose their investment in this place. Let me ask you a question. So to put the governor in a position where he doesn't even know what is happening, and he's saying to you, whoever sent you here, call him. It's wrong of that person, whoever it is, who's making
now going to. I don't want us to go into the case proper, because the truth is that they're still trying to resolve. All parties are valid, right? The family, the state government, even the residents who have legitimately built their houses. Who have COFO. So they're all legitimate parties here. But as I said, the parties are going to have a meeting today. But the real crux of our conversation this morning is the authority of the chief security officer of the state over a situation that is coming directly from Abuja. Where do we draw the line? And that's the real question.
There's a clash.
Why is there a clash? And can we learn from this clash going forward? Because we're trying to push those in the National Assembly that, listen, we want state police. And they're all arguing, saying, no, it cannot happen. Can we use this as a premise to say, listen, we need authority over our policing within our states?
Sadly, there have been several situations that we can use as premise. There have been several times when security within the states is abused. Ability to give authority is not there within. So you are the chief security officer of your state, but you're powerless to control any major security apparatus, which is why they now created Amoteco and all the other paramilitary, para-security outfits to support. But we still believe that the real solution lies in reviewing the constitution itself. That would give it. If you can't call me a governor and I don't have power over security in my state.
Let me take this call from Olumide.
Call my organ.
Olumide, are you there?
I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please. Sorry for keeping you.
Good morning to you.
Morning.
To you all.
Thank you.
First time caller.
Welcome to the show.
I want you to take cognizance of the fact that there was a Supreme Court judgment, and that judgment, coming from the Supreme Court, I believe the Attorney General and the Inspector General of Police should have a say in what the Supreme Court judgment is all about. The judgment did not come from the State High Court, it came from the Supreme Court. So I want you to address that issue, that the Attorney General of the Federation and the Inspector General of the Police should have a say in executing what the Supreme Court says. That's my submission this morning. Good morning.
Thank you. So, and I guess that's why the governor mentioned in that video that he had spoken to the AGF and he had spoken to the IGP, because of when you get a ruling from that level, those are the people that are leading the enforcement of that ruling. And that's what I was trying to say, that so those are the people that he had to call out, and he's called them out. But now we'll see how the federal government, whoever they are, would now respond to this.
So you have to wrap up on
there's
a
process.
messages on Facebook
There's a process to how judgments are. When you get judgment, you don't just go and start to paste it.
I don't think that's what happened.
So I'm just saying that in the course of that process, there's time. This all of us can be avoided.
It's been years.
Yes.
It's been years. This did not just happen within a week. This has been many years.
This picketing cannot just be out of the blue.
Exactly.
The government cannot just not know what is happening.
Because the Attorney General, who is the custodian of this Supreme Court judgment, is saying, I'm not aware they are there. According to the government.
What I'm saying.
Hang it there. And the government himself said that the custodian of this Supreme Court judgment, saying, I am not aware they are there. So if it's the Inspector General that now sent them, on what basis?
By now, the government should know, because, you know, he's a party in this matter.
And that is
the
why
Attorney General for Lagos State, representing him, would have been presented with the court order, said this is what we are going to be doing.
And that is why I feel that the governor planned to say that on TV. I feel the governor planned to let Lagosians know and the Magodo residents know that I have called those involved. They have said they don't know. So let's hear them and let the whole of Nigeria and Lagosians and Magodo residents hear. I've done my part. That's why I feel it's a deliberate move, because the governor could have sat in his office and handled that conversation that happened there.
And again, from my own view, I feel that the governor is playing the good guy that we saw in Lekki, and playing the good guy.
I don't think he's playing.
When I say play, when I'm saying playing, I'm saying that he is a good guy, and that role is playing, and he's being himself. His being himself can be counterproductive. But sometimes, in my own view, my view is that this good guy that we saw that went to Lekki Toll Gate to speak, to mediate amongst the people and the federal government.
Still doing the same.
He's doing the same thing. He's himself at the Magodo. I'm saying, if by doing that, is that the right approach as a governor, or should he have stayed in his office and made that call? Because they're all critiquing and analyzing and condemning his action for being a good guy to go there. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Mariah, it's okay to critique personalities, but that is the truth. Different personalities have their strengths and they have their weaknesses. It has what makes it admirable, and it has its backlash. But I personally respect people who are respectful of others. He understands his office and what he's meant to do, but does not think that you're less of a human being, that he cannot converse with you respectfully. So that one is left to us.
Okay, that's all we can take on this segment. We didn't take any comments on Facebook. Please, can we read before I run off?
Even Akeredolu won't take this nonsense. Malami and the IG, we know they gained admission to school through quota system. The question is very sharp.
I wanted to respond to that.
Aduni Fernandez says, imagine you are the governor and you don't have the sole authority over your state. This country is serious.
Any other comments? Nothing? All right, that's all we can take. Let's go on a break. When we come back, move on to other topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back. Our new toothpaste, Colgate.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move weigh in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music, and information. With our breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria, the all-female chat show, Your View, the best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bali, and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy E-Splash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime. We are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for news that is first, accurate, balanced, and reliable every time. TVC and TVC News watched by over 4.5 million people in Nigeria every day on terrestrial, DTH, DTT, OTT, and available to viewers in the UK on Sky TV. Watch all of our world-class programs on TV, online, and on our app. TVC and TVC News, the best entertainment and news for Nigeria on TV and online.
And when you can't watch us, listen to us. 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja are now ranked among the most listened to radio stations in Nigeria.
Now, with over 1.5 million listeners every day, we're the people's favorite radio station. Best hit music, best on-air talent. Max 102.3 hit music for Lagos and Max 90.9 hit music for Abuja. We are your home for that fun, entertainment, and hit music.
In Lagos, TVC, our leading family entertainment TV channel, has a 47% market share. But this is just the start of our journey, as we plan to add even more services to entertain and inform our ever-growing audience. Thanks for being part of the TVC communication story.
How we're doing, guys? Is the makeup in progress? Makeup check. Are the scripts on the prompter? Script check. Are we set in the PCR? All team in place? PCR check. Clock is ticking, time is racing, lights are. Plans all set. 120 minutes of hot entertainment. We are ready for the mission. How we're doing, guys? Is the makeup in progress? Makeup check. Are the scripts on the prompter? Script check. Are we set in the PCR? All team in place? PCR check. Clock is ticking, time is racing, lights are. Plans all set. 120 minutes of hot entertainment. We are ready for the mission.
Come closer. A little bit more. Perfect. I have exciting news for you. You asked for it and you got it. Your favorite breakfast show, Your View, will be going to 2 hours. We're going to have in-depth analysis of the newspaper review and more conversations on the hot topics. The ladies of Your View and I will be stirring up our guests to get an in-depth into all the various topics, and you, our viewers, will have the opportunity to call in and share your views. After all, it's your view. Join us on Your View, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for a fantastic conversation. Don't miss it.
How we're doing, guys? Is the makeup in progress? Makeup check. Are the scripts on the prompter? Script check. Are we set in the PCR? All team in place? PCR check. Clock is ticking, time is racing, lights are. Plans all set. 120 minutes of hot entertainment. We are ready for the mission.
thanks for staying with us. So we're bringing in our guest, a two-time Honorable House of Representative, Honorable Bush Alebioshu is going to be our guest, but we're going to be discussing education, but we'd like to hear his thoughts on this topic we just concluded. So I'll still go back to education because I really want you to, that's what you're here for. But before the break, we're discussing about the governor's trip to Magodo.
Right.
Now, there were two things the ladies and I have discussed earlier. The fact that he even went at all, and there's a point of view that should he have even gone? Secondly, the police not responding to his request of calling the IGP, was it in the place of the police to do that? What's the law? As a chief security officer of the state, does he have authority over the police officer, or he doesn't? I mean, those are the two issues I'd like you to touch on for us and give some clarity.
Thank you for having me. First of all, when we take a look at the fact that, I mean, you said, should he have gone there? This had been all over the news for several days. And I think I had seen a placard where it said lives are at stake. And the duty of any government is to protect lives and property. And also considering the fact that Alausa, the seat of government, is just right around the corner. Right. What reason would he have, or would he have given not to show up? On several occasions, we had the question had been put forth to say, is the governor actually, are the governors actually the chief security officers of the states? On paper, yes.
On paper.
But who do the commissioners of police listen to? The IG of police.
Yes.
Who does the IG work closely with? The Attorney General.
Yes.
And I'm glad that this has happened because we never really paid attention to it. And until things actually concern us personally, we don't get to stand up to it. So with this, I mean, I'm glad it was all over the news, and the powers that be, policymakers, legislators would also see that there is need to change this.
So you used to be a House of Representatives, but
Correct.
we're talking about this issue of local policing, state policing, and it's taking forever. There's just so much politicking and talk over it. They can't get us to a consensus. Do you think this might serve as some kind of a premise to begin to restart this conversation again?
We need to understand that various representatives come from various areas, and every state would have its, let me put it this way, its agenda. If it's not top on the agenda, I really don't see this happening, unless, I mean, we have the Governors Forum, and I think with the strength of the Governors Forum, now that they have seen it happen to one of them, they should be able to lobby their representatives to really look into this.
Before we leave, I would like to just ask you about the feedback that the governor, I almost call it backlash, I want to say feedback that the governor has gotten, that maybe he shouldn't have gone there. It wasn't a proper show of power for him to go and be talking to people like that. Yes. That what would you, being that you've been in the political position, you're a leader yourself, what would you say is the right approach? Would you say what he did was the right approach, or would you have done it differently?
Until you find yourself in that position, you wouldn't be able to. I mean, he's the one who knows the amount of pressure he was under, number one. Number two, we need to understand that there's politics, there's power, and there's also what you call arrangement. Arrangement. Not in all cases do you solve issues with this isn't fair. Sometimes you have to put being fair aside and to really tackle the issue. Like I said, he would have had to go through Magodo on a daily basis on his way to work. What reason would he have? What's the most he would have done? He would have sent his top security aide to go speak with them. He wasn't there for the police, he was there for the people of Magodo. So once we understand that, it depends on how you see. Muhammad Ali said something. He said for a long time he thought it was the dare that crossed the road, until he realized one day that, wait a minute, it's really not the dare that crossed the road. It's the road that cut through the forest. So when you sit back and you find yourself being a resident of Magodo, would you actually say, no, the governor shouldn't have come? Shouldn't have come, rather?
How you put that,
I mean, the only person they could look up to was the governor. And being there was not for the police, but for the people.
Right. Okay, so I think we got some clarity on that. So we're going to go back to the issue of education, which is why we brought you here. You know, as a two-time member of the House of Reps, we think that a lot could be done in our educational sector, from basic all the way to tertiary, and even to the other technical schools. So many interventions, international or local, and for some, one thing has been very, very apparent. None of it has really worked. You know, all these international bodies come in here, they come with all these fantastic programs, they train 1,000 people, and they go off and they get more international funding, and we don't really see the crux of what they're doing. So what do you think, as we enter the 2022, what can government begin to do across the board, from basic to technical schools and tertiary institutions? What can we begin to do to change the educational sector within our country? That's a broad question.
Well, we have to start from the genesis of the problem. And I would say that in the process of looking for a solution, we found a problem in the educational sector. The ECOWAS was established in 1975. Nigeria is a signatory to the ECOWAS Treaty. This guarantees the freedom of, you know, goods, services, and all sorts. If I remember clearly, in 1983, there was a problem of unemployment, a scare of unemployment. Government came up with a policy to protect its citizenry. They decided that some foreigners had to leave. If you think back, you would remember that during that period, we had white teachers, we had Ghanaian teachers, we had Togolese teachers, Lebanese, Indian teachers.
Yes.
Some of them came in search of work. Some of them came with their husbands, who were expatriates then. And we had the best from everywhere feeding into our educational system. And we had proper standards. We also had a currency that was practically almost at par with the pound. So for those who are British, or who were British then, they lived a better life, earning the same amount of money or even less in Nigeria than being in England. The Ghanaians who came were attracted by the value of our currency. Now, over time, when we decided that foreigners had to leave, I think, if I'm right, I think they had either between 90 and 60 days to leave, 90 and 120 days to leave. So what happened? They left with all that knowledge. Fine. We wanted to create employment, so we looked to graduates. Oh, you studied biology, you're going to become a biology teacher. You studied mathematics, you're going to become a mathematics teacher. Forgetting that studying something and having the passion to teach it are two completely different things. Fast forward to now. Government came up with other policies, realizing that government couldn't do it alone, and decided to look in the area of the private sector. So what did they do? They gave out licenses to individuals and people from the private sector, and they came up with schools. But the problem is, the question is, what was that to address? Was it that we didn't have enough schools? Or was it that we were looking at the quality and standard of education? Now we're dealing with the fact that we can't have foreigners come here because our currency as it is really not as attractive to them.
Right.
The Ghanaians don't want to come anymore. They're comfortable where they're at. And we've seen so many schools now. I think Lagos State alone, as of 2019, had 20,000 registered private schools. Registered. Now, did the number change the standard of education and the quality of education? The answer is no. So what should we be looking at? We should be looking at more teacher training colleges so that the best quality teachers, if our currency isn't attractive enough for them to come, it means then that we have to bring the mountain to Muhammad.
Right.
Have them train people with that passion so that the same knowledge can percolate down.
Okay. So I know that we have colleges of education, teacher training schools. We've always had them. But what we tend to find is that for most people who go to these places are maybe people who had missed getting to proper universities, following a course that they wanted, and so they always feel that teaching is something that they could just rely on, that would take them. That was the barest minimum. So the colleges of education that we have already, I feel that that's where we need to work on and find better trainers or improve the standards of these colleges of education. And maybe the entry level for colleges of education should change. What do you think?
That's exactly what I'm saying, or I'm trying to say, that we shouldn't be focusing on new schools anymore. We should be focusing on if it can be privatized so that, I mean, we have consulting firms coming up with fantastic consultants who are well paid. So why can't colleges of education also be structured like such, so that the quality you're bringing, I mean, education has gone way beyond where it used to be. We have so many issues to deal with right now. We have dyslexia, dyspraxia, dyscalculia, special education. I was somebody who was dubbed like as an oludo when I was younger. But it wasn't the case. It was just that I learned things differently. And until I discovered that, I tell people, be careful what you say to me, because if you ask me in 30 years, I'll tell you that's not what you said. I found out that I had that gift of a photographic memory. Fantastic. And I had my own way. Whatever I listened to,
you were more auditory.
I was both auditory and visual. And this is still happening right now. And if you know what it leads to, it even creates bullies in schools. Because if you're not seen by the teacher as a brilliant one, they look upon you like, well, you're the runt of the litter. And every human being wants respect. They form a bond with other runts of the litters. If you look at the statistics reeled out a couple of years ago, said 1 in every 5 pupils today suffers from dyslexia.
Wow.
So do we have what it takes? Exactly. Those are the kind of teachers we should be. Look, I mean, there's a saying that the difference between a stepping stone and a stumbling block is how you use them. So why don't we turn those teachers from stumbling blocks to stepping stones?
So let me come into the primary education is the bedrock of everything. Because if the foundation is wrong, you really, whatever you build as a structure on it would go bad and it would not last. Primary education in Lagos, some of us in Lagos, we kind of complain the schools are not good, but like Lagos is paradise as compared to other schools, other communities within the same country.
Correct.
And then we complain that 10 years down the line, the migration of the kind of people we don't want come in, but we didn't stem it at the right time. So beyond Lagos, how would you say, you were in the House of Assembly, what would you say policy-wise, what would you say representative-wise could be done by those there now? What would be the right move to solve the problem from the foundation? Because we have the largest youth population that you can see per capita in the world. So we have potential, but if we don't use them well, we'll be grooming criminals. How can we convert this potential into prize for Nigeria through the education sector from the primary sector?
I think we need to understand that the private sector, the public sector isn't one that should be joked with. Excuse me. Excuse me. You discover that I'm yet to see a governor or president of Nigeria since Nigeria was birthed that attended a private school.
No, private school?
Yes.
Sure.
From Shehu Shagari to Obasanjo to everybody went through the public school.
Maybe in another 10
Excuse
years.
me. Sorry?
So maybe in a few years, the next crop of leaders will be.
Well, whether we like it or not, God has a way of designing his things. But as we speak, a lot of members of the House of Reps and state assemblies and senators all went through public schools. So we need to understand that there is need for a lot more attention to those public schools.
You know
something that I wanted to corroborate what you said is that we can get some water for you. What we observe, because people kept saying our educational sector is bad, our curriculum is bad, and some of the data that we've seen is that it's not that our curriculum is so bad, is that the teachers are not teaching at optimum. So what we found is that, for example, in basic education, back then, before there was some intervention, a teacher would go to school, write on the board, primary school, write on the board, right? Expect you to copy on the board and just tell you your assignment is this. And she goes out, I go and run her own business, or go and go to the markets, or go and, or send you the child to go and buy rice, or go and pick beans, or something silly.
Correct.
So the problem is that the children are not being taught. So we have a functional curriculum, but they're not being taught appropriately. I don't know. So do you agree, or do you think we have a fundamental problem with our curriculum?
On a regular basis, we look at constitutional reviews. It means that we understand and appreciate the fact that from time to time, there is need to review the Constitution. Yes. With our curriculum as well, necessity is the mother of invention. We have to continue to change our curriculum to fit into the times. That is on one side. So do I think the curriculum is weak? I think it needs to be rejigged. And also the quality of teachers. Now, they don't come from Mars, they're from Nigeria.
Yes.
Culture also plays a major role.
100%.
Culture plays a major role.
Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
How we're doing, guys? Is the makeup in progress? Makeup
check.
Are the scripts on the prompter? Script
Check.
Are we set in the VCR? All team in place? VCR
Check. Clock is ticking, time is racing, lights are. Plans all set. 120 minutes of hot entertainment. We are ready for the mission.
At TVC Communications, we're all
Thanks for staying with us. We still have Honorable Dio Bush. That's the famous name everybody knows, Dio Bush Alebioshu with us. He's a two-time member of the House of Representatives, and we're discussing how we can reposition education system in Nigeria. Nima, would like to jump in?
So I listened to you, and for me, I've always wondered how Nigerians lost what's nurturing, because I don't want to use college education, a child is about, policy-wise. So this is not about the home, but about the society. How children will go to school, and all parents and society worry about is the certification. So over years, the need for certification was overridden every other very important thing, which included the way a child needed to learn, the total output of a child at the end of the day. So we in Nigeria, we have plenty of certificates. Everywhere you go, people have masters, there's doctors, and they're not masters at anything. And we go to countries like Finland and all of that, and we see from the very small child.
China.
No education, don't even go far. The Beneye that we're not going. You know, people have skills. They know how. You're a teacher and you're teaching a young child. You already know how to manage a child. I sat with a teacher once and she said, this one cannot collect prize, or is this ones? These are the ones that can collect prize.
Wow.
And I'm wondering, and you're a teacher, you know, and I saw another one once at a training, talked to her ward, I said, you run fast, Jerry. I said, did you train her? And she was like, hey, she not come that day. I said, this how? Me now, I don't have any certification in education. All I know is how to be a good mother. That's natural. So some people have seen that, and they pay for that, and they grow that in societies. That are we here? We normalize the number of. If I want to get a teacher now, how many certificates?
Let me add to your question. So what I'm hearing him say, this formal, foreign, international, Western education.
Did we create our own?
Is it serving us as of today? Right? Because what we're saying is that other countries, like she has said, China, have developed through skills acquisition. So should we begin to remodel the kind of education that we're giving in Nigeria?
Let's use China again. Can we remodel a system that is well easy for our people culturally to imbibe and make that our own system of education rather than they just go to Britain.
Teach mathematics. Teach mathematics in Yoruba or in Igbo or in Hausa.
Can we have that? And something that
is it possible?
We have different types of cultures and societies. We're not from a. We come from what I refer to as an oppressive culture.
Right. Okay.
You're younger than me. I'm better certified than you.
We just from the government.
So we have moved from the target to distractions. What makes us feel? What makes us feel good?
That's word.
To what makes us feel good? It's become more of bragging rights to say I have this, rather than
I just got back.
Your penchant for knowledge.
Like you know it.
Yes. So when you have that knack, when you have that desire to learn, why is this way? Why is this that way? Sometimes you find out that your mind almost has a mind of its own. Okay. You want to do something else, but you want to know why this works this way, and then you go that way. We've seen kids do that. However, what caused this? Every bully has been bullied and just wants to pass it on. This started from the colonial days, and we're still struggling to shake it off, to see that, oh, this does not... I mean, how do you explain people who came from humble beginnings and have found themselves in government, but struggle in solving those problems they faced when they were struggling?
I'd like to answer to that.
How do you explain that? It's a case of, oh, the one that got away. In Yoruba, they say, the one that got away. But we have so many people who are not looked at. When you take the American system, please permit me to quickly use that. What was Obama's reason for using Hillary Clinton was that, oh, her strength was in foreign policies. As a parliamentarian, as a senator, we should see more of that. How many teachers are represented? How many people have they? You need to understand that in every society, in every family, in every business place, there is some level of politicking required to get what you desire.
So we need to have teachers in the House of Assembly.
And in this, who better?
We tried it for the constitutional review. We had got all the professors in Nigeria.
We had a doctor, our minister for health is a medical doctor, and yet this seems to be like the most stimulus season in our health sector. There's been several strikes. They've been fired. They've been re-employed.
But he has combated COVID, though. They have to give him some credit for COVID.
Did they create?
But also he's a minister in a democratic system where he needs to talk to different people ahead of him or below him, you know, to pass whatever.
Let's go back to education.
But education for me is, you know, we hear this conversation constantly comparing, Western education and our cultural ways. And, you know, you made a point about the oppressiveness of our culture. And I hear this regularly, the China, the Finland. If our culture is oppressive, do we do away with it completely in localizing our educational system? And when we also talk about localizing our educational system, what exactly are we saying? Are we saying just use Nigerian languages in passing, you know, information, or do what we're already doing and make it more Western than Nigerian?
We need to understand something, that what is culture? Culture is the lenses through which we look at things. We learn it. Our grandparents, our parents, those older brothers or those older ones you look up to in the community and things like that, who influence how you think, the mindset. There is need for a reorientation of that. How we see certain things, like I had said, I just want that certification, that's all I need. Because most requirements are, for example, for you to apply for this job, or for you to sit in any parliament, you need this. For you to contest as this, you need this. So the focus is, let me just focus on getting the certification. But what about knowledge in itself? We have a lot of knowledgeable people. And, I mean, records have shown that our doctors are hot when they get out there.
Yes.
Where did they learn? Here.
It's Western education.
So, yes, whether we like it or not, Western education, I mean, you're referring to Finland, where they're doing amazingly well. So I think what we need to do is take those things. I always used to tell my colleagues that there is need for the domestication of every single law that we see. So whatever, you just don't take it. When I read the papers, I understand that this is somebody's view, this is somebody's opinion. So I try to read in between the lines rather than just taking it, thinking that this is nature communicating with me, you know.
So let me try to paint the picture of what we're trying to say earlier. So we have, let's see, an entire class, Nigerian children, there are 10 of them, the entire class, right? So 2 of them have natural gift.
Correct.
Or certain, maybe they can absorb the Western knowledge because of their natural gifting. Others take in knowledge in different ways. So I think it was BC that explained it to us the last time she was here, that the Western education, so 2 of you in class, do pass exam, you're academically inclined, you pass the exam, you go abroad, and you do very well. The Western education hasn't benefited the remaining 8 because they're not able to absorb this knowledge. Now, if this same knowledge has been broken down in their own dialect or based through the lenses of which they were raised, and we help them to understand, maybe we'll have more doctors. So you're not only getting 2 doctors now that traveled abroad, you're not getting like maybe about 7 or 8 doctors who will still become doctors because they have a better understanding of this knowledge. That's what we were saying earlier.
Okay.
Is that a valid argument?
To address that,
yes.
I don't totally agree with that. And I'll tell you the reason I don't. When you go to a doctor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us have malaria. Even when the doctor knows we have malaria, they would ask further questions so they know the appropriate medication to prescribe for each one of us. It's obvious and very clear that we've had a one-size-fits-all system. I had mentioned earlier dyslexia, dyspraxia. The teacher also needs to, the teacher is frustrated. How inspired is the teacher? Now, I saw a case where a teacher was really upset and said, I don't know what's wrong with this child. Never pays attention. And the parent was also, so I looked at the teacher and asked, what do you think the problem is? Said, too playful. And I said, no, that's not the case. Do you know how the human mind works? Do you know, the body receives 11 million bits of information per second. There's a lot the child, do you know how many times you want to say something and you're thinking, what was I going to say now? So you can imagine a child, 11 million bits, and the child is only able to process between 40 and 60 bits of information per second. So how do you get that child when you realize that the child is strained? How do you get the child back? This Finland that we're talking about, at any single time have between 2 to 3 teachers in a class. And it's not like they have a heavily packed class anyways. They have, what, 15, 20 pupils in a class with 3 teachers in a class at the same time. They would have understood, they would have profiled. How often do we profile our students?
Perfect.
So it means that we have to prepare the teachers in order to impact positively.
All right, let me take this call, because you keep going back to the issue of the teacher training. So look, we're going to come back to that. Let me take Chesson. Chesson, are you there from K2?
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I want to talk on the Magodo residency.
It's your view. Let it count. Go ahead, please.
Hello? I want to talk
It's your view. Let it count. Go ahead, please.
Okay, I want to talk on Magodo residence issue. See, there is a court injunction that says, let so party take possession of their property. That is the highest court in the land. Let it be respected. Highest the governor could do is to call the party involved and see how he can manage the situation. The policemen who are there, they are working according to the instructions given by the court, the highest court in the land. Don't let us make mockery of our judiciary. Let the police do their job, and let the executive or whatever, the people that make law, let them do their job too. Please, I don't want a situation whereby people will be saying, why should these people want to take possession of their property? It is the court that gave such injunction, and let it be respected.
Thank you very much, Chesson. Yes, go ahead. So,
okay.
Go ahead.
Yes, you were saying we'll just go back to teachers training.
Yeah.
And, you know, when we talk about domesticating our, our education, I know of children who went to village schools, and they have teachers who teach them in local languages. And the only thing that those children can live with is the fact that they can speak the local languages. So just knowing the local language does not explain the physics, the chemistry, in the local language. And many people are like, and then you see these children now. I went to school with a few of them who are now moved to regular schools. And they are struggling. That's one. Secondly, there's this world out there that does not really recognize the fact that you only speak, your local language, and it does not reflect in all the other things that that helps you career-wise. So I'm thinking domesticating education it has to do a lot with values, civic duties, things like that. Let's localize that. Let's teach our children the things their rights and responsibilities as Nigerians within Nigeria, and marry it with the Western education that the world is thriving on.
When I refer to domesticating it, don't forget that a lot of the books we use, the case studies and all, are foreign to us. How do we explain it in such a way? You're speaking in it that the pupils would understand. You're talking about, you're using cones to explain stuff, and the child hasn't even seen a cone. You're saying, oh, if you have 3 kiwis and you add 2 foreign fruits, the child probably doesn't even know what a kiwi is.
That was what happened in my primary school.
You've thrown that child away completely. So how do we domesticate it and explain in Agbalumo? But to say that, I mean, for crying out loud, our lingua franca is English. I remember I saw something trending, a friend of mine who's always very happy to make sure he whoops me in line, or to challenge me in a good way, a positive criticism. And he showed me a video that was trending then about some guy who was complaining about how the Chinese were doing all constructions and this and that the problem now is that the Chinese don't speak English, and they would come do this and go away. And he said, oh, he's making sense. And I said, absolutely not. You have to prepare yourself. You have to prepare yourself to achieve what you want to achieve. I know a gentleman, I met him a few years ago, who left America just for the purpose of studying Chinese, went to China, came back, And he's practically a subcontractor in Ibadan, doing marvelously well. He didn't allow his inability to speak Chinese stop him from getting to where he was going. So if you
what
have
I think
to adjust,
we're saying, sir, is that, first of all, because we've seen Indians who can't speak English, Chinese, and they are there building cars and bread. So the point I think we're trying to make is that, can we domesticate, understand the problem we have, first of all? We have a problem with inventing in this country. We need our people to find solutions to recycling, for example. We have tires, we have bottles everywhere. So we want them to understand. Maybe we can, if we domesticate the learning or the teaching of these things, always say that we can solve better problems, because the few of us that grab it, we go abroad and we come back. But the majority that don't grab it are saying, listen, I want to know this thing, but they're smarter. Many of them can be smarter, but I was telling somebody that, let me not go back there.
Please, sorry, Nima.
Doctor, I'll come to you. I'm so sorry. Let me take Folarin Show. I'll come to you. Folarin Show, are you there?
Yeah.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good job. Yeah, concerning the education system that we discussed, I happen to have traveled to China where I did my MBA, and I was involved in the academic sector too. What happened there is that they use one thing that I really I was able to understand is they use their language, which gave the students in-depth knowledge of what they are saying. For example, when I was doing my OND in Nigeria, we were taught by an Indian, and one of he did something that was so unique that I couldn't forget. In physics, there's what we call mu. Mu is the smallest measuring unit for math. And now, when this man taught us, he simplified by explaining that as if we should imagine a mosquito perching on a table and causing a dent, which is, you have to really imagine it deeply before you can understand it. And since then, I couldn't forget the definition of mu. And this is what Nigerian teachers have not been applying. Most of the time, what they do is to read and point away. Now, either the student could get the concept clearly or not. The next thing is to go for exam, and then they expect you to just pour it down. And when you do that, how do you expect the student to have gained knowledge? It's difficult. And that is why, if we are going to really go far in this our education sector, I will suggest two things. First of all, can we try to see if we can use our traditional language to explain things to some students so that they can, I'm not saying for the exam, I'm just for the explanation, so that they can get the in-depth knowledge of what they are teaching. And then the second one is that, do we have the technology? Can we improve our technology of teaching? Thank you.
That's an amazing contribution. I feel that my children and many of the children that are born in Lagos, their first language is English. So they think in English. You can't say you want to now teach them in Yoruba. But for those that their first language is Yoruba, it might be easier to explain to them in Yoruba. There's an interview, very popular interview that went viral from Elon Musk, and he says that it doesn't make sense, and Nima mentioned it, to say a child should cram a fly and draw the fly. That was biology for us. So I cram what the heart looks like and I draw it, label all the arteries. But I really don't understand that if one artery is blocked, what is the avenue to open it up and what will I do? So I don't understand the aerodynamics that I can borrow from how a fly is structured so that I can create my own aeroplane from that. So the idea is not for us to identify knowledge for recollection, but knowledge for creation. And it is the overhauling that we need to do. There's another part. I'm into real estate. I need skilled people. So I have a surveyor, somebody that studied survey in the university, but does not know how to do the job.
Your surveyor is hearing you.
No, I'm not saying, I'm just saying, like, I'm talking generically. Like, you've gone to school to study it. You've spent 5 years with strikes, 7 years in the university, and you are finished, but you can't actually do the job. So we're losing skills to people from Benin. We bring them in as bricklayers because our boys are not doing the job. We're bringing them in as, and they don't understand English, but if you tell them this is the line, they will set the line and they will do the job. So how do we give the jobs to our own people and train them to be able to meet the needs of our society? Because we do need people to have skills to render the services.
I think we're just moving from the blame from, it's like we're kicking the can down the road. That's what we're doing. You mentioned India. You have to, what's your policy? What's your national policy? What is the intention of your nation? India is speaking English, their language. India is exporting education to where they would pay the kind of money they want. And these are the Americas, the Englands, and so on and so forth. They're not going to go speak Hindu there. When explaining, you can use any example. I'm dyslexic. And I'm able to communicate things by using practical things that they can use. That comes down to the skill and ability of the teacher to communicate.
Absolutely. So you got into where I wanted, because when the caller called earlier and talked about, you know, a language thing, we are past the language thing, just as Tope said. But the things that are common in our environment are better examples than what is in the picture. So my son, for instance, thinks a puppy. You can play with a puppy. Anywhere you see a puppy, they are friendly. Ogbeni, Ajanio. You know? So localize examples. As a teacher, you're teaching a child, even when you're speaking the lingua franca, can you make an example of if somebody goes to the river to fetch water with 3 pots and put it in a drum to explain volume, can you localize our system? Because every time we see a curriculum adjustment in Nigeria, it is British curriculum. Some schools even flaunt it. Whereas we're not localizing the things that are easily available, so that a child that is under the lantern reading would, while reading, be able to make an example of things around and say, okay, I get what I'm saying, what my teacher is saying.
I think that where he started from already something that we need to go to the teachers.
So we're talking about policy. You just mentioned now that it has to be a national policy. Our national policy. And I was thinking, who are the drafters of these policies? What are they looking at? Are they saying that everything that comes, all the time we localize laws? I see that.
Not really.
And you know, when I was studying, I would rather make it about a thing around me than what is coming from abroad. Can we do that in our policies?
Let me let you have a final response to that. So that sure.
We can't use one size fits all. In a class of 25 pupils, you have to profile them first of all, so you know what the problem is, rather than just saying, oh, this is the problem. For these kind of people, how do we solve the problem? For these kind of people, how do we solve the problem? For these kind of, I mean, if you like, speak English to, or speak French to somebody who deals with dyspraxia or dyslexia. I keep going back to that. 1 in every 5. So it means that if you have 25 pupils in a class and you have forms 1A, B, C, D, E, the 5 arms of that year, you have 25 pupils in that year times 5 to up to from 5 or year 6. Once that is sorted, the next thing is, we have phones here. We all have phones, and our phones have cameras. We take pictures with them, correct?
Yeah.
But does that make us professional photographers?
No.
Can we take the same pictures as somebody whose passion is to take photographs? That's exactly what teaching is like. When you bring somebody who has studied something to come and teach, is different from somebody who set out and said, all I want to do in my life is to teach.
So it's not enough to be a good mother.
Well, she would support the process.
We have to train the mother to be a teacher as well.
She was teaching.
We have to wrap up. I think we've been able to we've been able to come home with the message. At the end of the day, it's about the teachers, ensuring that we don't just want people who are passionate about certain things, but have been trained to, because that's the only way we can begin to start to properly educate Nigerians to get the results that we desire.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Honorable Bush.
Thank you for having me.
Sorry about the water.
It worked fine.
All right.
Thank you.
That's all we can take on the show. We'll be speaking to a 2-time member of the House of Reps, Honorable Dayo Bushura Alebiosho, and we've been discussing education, repositioning education in Nigeria, and he has taught us and reminded us that the role of the teachers is extremely important. We begin to teach teachers to be able to raise the kind of leaders that we hope to have in the future. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
We love fried food. Tasty fried chicken, seasoned fried fish, French fries. But cooking fried food sometimes feels like going to war. Different cooking pans, hot oil spills, lots and lots of oil, meaning added calories. And cleaning is a disaster. Scraping, what a chore. But not anymore. Introducing the new ShopX Power Air Fryer XL, the revolutionary kitchen miracle with one-touch technology. Our Power Air Fryer fries with superheated cyclonic air with little to no oil and up to 80% less fat. It does the job of your grill, oven and stovetop all in one neat, compact and versatile device. The ShopX Power Air Fryer has 7 quick-touch presets. Press for fries, press for pizza, press for chicken or press for fish. Just set it and walk away for perfect French fries in 18 minutes.